All right, special update. Been radio silent for a couple weeks intentionally, trying to get this arbitration for termination thing across the finish line. Here's the update. As expected, the coward mayor punted the ball and made sure that it didn't get called for a vote yet again today. He deferred it till next month. Ridiculous. And then as that was challenged, he basically said it was state law and he had the ability to defer and pass. That's a ruling of the chairman. When that ruling was appealed by Alderman Lopez as a parliamentary Robert's Rules of Order, appealing the decision of the chair, it was ruled it's not an appealable thing because it's a state law. It wasn't a motion or it wasn't a ruling by the chair, which it clearly was. Another just ridiculous ruling and lackey. You know, he's got his corporation counsel advisor up there, Mr. Levine, telling him what to say because he has no idea what he's doing. And they already had this all mapped out that they were going to skirt a vote today because he did not want his allies to have to vote no a second time. It's pathetic. It's terrible leadership, but he got his way at least in city council today. Immediately after, we already had this scheduled hearing as a follow-up from the previous one about what the city council had done. The judge wanted the update. So in court today at 2:30 in the afternoon, Judge Mullen rightly basically gave us the relief we were looking for. He issued a temporary restraining order, and they're going to say it was by agreement. And the only reason the city capitulated was because it was going to happen anyway. The judge was very clear that relief needed to be granted on some level until this gets resolved by city council within this new 30-day window they've created because of another parliamentary kind of shady maneuver and kind of reading of the language. This is always a gray area. They keep playing this game. But it was pretty obvious the judge was going to give them that one more shot in the February. If they don't take action, they have already admitted that after that 30-day window is done, that if no action is taken, that our award is law, it's ordinance. If the city council doesn't come up with enough votes to reject it, same applies. It is in effect. If they do reject it, it goes back to the judge to determine if he's going to keep the temporary restraining order in effect and grant our summary judgment motion and memo to enact the award effective immediately in whole. So that's kind of where we're at come February 26th. The city council will meet, I believe it's February 15th before that. So they'll have one more shot to do the right thing. Hopefully the temporary restraining order wakes them up and lets them know where this is going. And they decide they are finally going to do the right thing, follow their oath. But, you know, Mayor Johnson, who is cheerleading this obstruction and basically violation of their oath, was a coward. He couldn't show up and defend his own position in court today. It's right across the street from City Hall. If he believed it so fervently that this is the right thing to do, he should have been in court next to his lawyers saying why this is needed. But he doesn't show up. No different than every other coward mayor this pretty much city has had. If you believe in something, you should be fighting for it, not sending someone else to do your dirty work for you. But onward we go. One other thing, I will give more clearance on Friday about a lot of this. I just wanted to touch on two things real quick. The other thing that's starting to circulate is the city trying to get out of paying back the sellback hours for comp time. There was a very clear understanding, agreement, the arbitration component of this, and sometime right after the beginning of the year, when the mayor realized he needed more money for migrants because they are spending $1.5 million a day. And that's what they're admitting to. So think about this. The people who were against arbitration for termination cases, they repeatedly, one of their talking points is that police misconduct has cost this city $1 million every 3 days, blah, 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 blah. Again, none of this has really ever been verifiable or, jury awarded. It's always been settlement, 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 settlement. So they get to skew the numbers themselves just on that basis. But for every $1 million every 3 days that we supposedly spend on police misconduct, we are now spending $4.5 million every 3 days on this migrant crisis, when apparently we didn't have any money for anything else, but now we apparently have $600 million or more every year now to deal with this crisis that they brought into this city and welcomed and said, bring us your poor and weary, I get. It's just ludicrous. It's insane. But because he is so hell-bent on spending every single penny he can, there's an obvious need to get the money from somewhere. So the budget department got involved in this and now is trying to find some wiggle room out of the selling back of comp time hours this year. I will tell you, I was very clear with Mr. Franzik after this hearing today that they need to figure out a solution by the end of this week, or we will be going to Arbitrator Ben to define exactly what that award meant and what the understanding was during the whole process, which he was part of. It was very clear that this was supposed to be paid out this year. And we can defend our position, but the city has not been bargaining in good faith time and time again. There's some misinformation being put out there by our members. Shame on them. Again, that'll be another issue to deal with, but if you don't know the facts, don't be posting them on social media, because all you do is create havoc, and that's not going to go ignored. I'll have a better update on Friday with a lot of this, including the sellback hour solution, and let you know where we're at with that. Until then, see you Friday.